since that time we are there, and I'm grateful to him for allowing me to keep his friendship for all these years and tolerating me, and also allowing me today to uh, speak something glorification of the Lord, because many of us we know since a long time, but we hardly get to meet. So there is some good opportunity. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshikarine हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्याम जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. So as we know, next week is actually tomorrow is the actual festival of Sri Jagannath Ratha Yatra, which happens in Sri Kshetra Dham in Puri. How many of us have had the good fortune to be to Puri Dham? Okay, that's most of us. The others, if you pray sincerely to Jagannath, then very soon the Lord will fulfill your desire. So next week is of course tomorrow is Rath Yatra in Puri, and then next Saturday we're having Jagannath Rath Yatra here. So probably this class won't be there because it will be Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra, and the Lord would have arrived at this time, probably arriving or stuck somewhere in traffic. So just preparing our consciousness for the Rath Yatra upcoming festivals, something on Lord Jagannath. As you can see that the Puri temple is a very famous structure, and the Rath Yatra is one of the most widely attended festivals in the entire world in terms of the number of people who attend it. So let's discuss about something about the glories of Lord Jagannath. Many of you must have already heard the story of why the Lord appears as Jagannath. But I would like to share some very special stories of Lord Jagannath which really inspire me today. The appearance of Lord Jagannath it's in Satyuga when Maharaj Indradyumna, he desired to take darshan of the Nilamadhava deity, which he had heard of so much. This deity was at Nilachala hill, and the color of it was blue sapphire. Having heard about it so much from many devotees, Maharaj Indradyumna felt that he must have darshan of this, and thus he sent his trusted minister Vidyapati to search for this deity in the Nilachala region. Vidyapati reaches there, and he happens to uh, meet one tribal person. This is the Shabara tribe. So he meets this person called Vishwavasu, who takes him to this deity to have darshan. When he sees this beautiful form, four-handed form of Lord, but dazzling, it's like a blue sapphire, the color, and Lord Vishnu with four hands. So when he sees this beautiful form, and that is also in the forest, tucked away somewhere, which is not accessible to regular people. So when he sees the locality, the surroundings, and the ambience, and then he has darshan of this special form of Nilamadhava, Vidyapati is spellbound. And then Vidyapati, he comes back to Maharaj Indradyumna to narrate to him the glories of Nilamadhava deity. Now, Maharaj Indradyumna, along with all his entourage, they reach there at Nilachala hill to have darshan of this deity. When they reach there, they find that this deity has vanished, disappeared from sight. So Maharaj Indradyumna is very despondent. He is very upset, very depressed at the fact that he does not get darshan. Because in his heart, he is a great devotee. And so, therefore, he wants that he has darshan of the Lord. So then Maharaj Indradyumna, he feels as if he wants to commit suicide. Because he feels, what is the use of my life if I did not get darshan of Nilamadhava? And that time, there is an Akashvani which says that Indradyumna, do not worry. I will come in my form as Daru Brahma. And you will be the instrument to make the temple. So, also, it mentioned that there are 3 logs of wood which will wash over at the ocean. A carpenter will come on his own who will carve deities out of these logs of wood. Know very well that this carpenter is none other than the carpenter of the demigods, who is Vishwakarma. So this pacified Indradyumna to a certain degree, and Maharaj Indradyumna made preparations. In fact, he is the one who was also responsible to construct the Shri Mandir that we see today. It is also originally inspired by him, although this story happens so many thousands of years ago. Now, these 3 logs of wood, as it was ascertained, as it was prophesied, they washed off the shore, they were taken, and this carpenter came of his own accord and he started carving the deities. The condition was that for 21 days, no one should disturb him. So, for 21 consecutive days, he was working in a closed room on these forms, 3 logs of wood. But it so happened that after the 14th day, the sound of the wood being chiseled, tuck, 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 that sound stopped coming. And then the devotees, and then everybody got anxiety. Maharaj Indradyumna, feeling the anxiety of what has happened, out of curiosity, opened the doors. And what did he see? He saw the unfinished forms of Jagannath, Baldeva, and Subhadra. And again, he felt very despondent because he had never seen such a form before. So he felt like giving up his life once again. And there, again, there was an Akashvani which said that this is my eternal form in Daru Brahma. That means this is my form in wood. And in this form of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra, in Kali Yuga, in this dark age of quarrel and hypocrisy, I give darshan and relief to all my devotees. So Indradyumna felt very pacified, and thus the forms of Lord Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra came to be established the way we see them today in Sri Kshetra Dham. Today is Gundicha Marjana, a day before the Ratha Yatra festival. So today in Puri, what is happening is that devotees, they volunteer to clean the Gundicha Mandir. Ratha Yatra is basically from the Shri Mandir to Gundicha Mandir. It's a procession wherein the forms of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, on their respective carts, they are pulled by the devotees through ropes and then taken to Gundicha Mandir. Now in Gundicha Mandir, Gundicha represents Vrindavan, and it is in this temple that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago set the example of cleaning the temple and the significance that it has in our lives. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on the day of Gundicha Marjan, there is an entire chapter in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita which describes this pastime. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with his associates, they come to Gundicha temple. They take permission from the temple authorities that we will clean the temple. So the temple authorities, they feel that Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi. Why does he need to clean? But because they are adamant and having a very nice service attitude, so then the temple authorities say, we will give you all the required paraphernalia, you may go ahead. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with all his associates, who are very great sannyasis, very great devotees, they all come, and what are they doing? A simple activity such as sweeping the temple. So all of them were personally handed brooms by Mahaprabhu. Personally gave everybody brooms. And then there was a transcendental competition as to who has the biggest pile of dirt. The one who had bigger pile of dirt was the one who was doing his service nicely. But Mahaprabhu made sure that nobody felt proud, because his pile was more than all the other piles put together. And in this way, they cleaned and cleaned. They washed and washed. In Puri, there is a Indradyumna Sarovar, which is a few meters away from the temple. So there, the devotees went and they used to bring buckets of water from there. And then they were cleaning and sweeping the temple. Mahaprabhu himself was leading. And first they made piles of dirt, straw pieces, wood, whatever was there, they made a huge pile of this. Then they removed all of this. Then second time. Then again third time. Mahaprabhu did not allow anyone to move out before they really cleaned and everything was sparkling clean. Setting the example. Because when they cleaned the first time, then Mahaprabhu said that the finer particles of dust, finer particles of straw, they're still there. So now let's do cleaning again. So in this way, Mahaprabhu himself setting the example is cleaning in Gundicha temple. He took his own cloth, Mahaprabhu takes his own upper cloth and he's sweeping with that. And in this way, they cleaned this Gundicha temple. Mahaprabhu also explained why. He said that the Supreme Lord Jagannath is going to come and reside here tomorrow. So how can he come in a filthy place? So therefore, this place must be sparkling clean. And all of us must do it ourselves. Now, today, in all our temples, there is Gundicha Marjan. This is practiced. So, any of you came to the temple and did some cleaning? Some, okay. In any case, this is a practice that is followed. But the special significance of this program was that Mahaprabhu explained that cleaning the temple is equal to cleaning our hearts. We cannot experience Krishna because there is so much of dirt inside our heart. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mad, Maya, Matsarya. These are some viruses that plague our software. Lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and envy. And not a little bit, it's a lot. At least I realized after a couple of years of practice that I have not even scratched the surface. So much lust, so much anger, so much greed. Lifetimes and lifetimes that is accumulated. And Mahaprabhu is engaging everyone in cleaning the temple so as to clean all of this. Actually, our whole process is a purifying and cleaning process. Not only cleaning the temple, even by chanting Hare Krishna, cleaning the temple is external cleanliness, very important. Keeping Suchi is one of the great values that we have in spiritual life, keeping ourselves clean. In the Brahmachari ashram here, I remember once we had one devotee, we used to wake up in the morning and he used to expect that we clean our spot, roll our mattress and then clean our spot, do pocha there. Used to expect. And as usual, most of us being little lazy, used to just keep the mattress and run from there. Then one day he became so angry, he just locked the door, didn't allow us anybody to go for Mangal Arati at 4:30. Didn't allow us. So, pehle clean karo. So then from that day onwards, every day we made a practice that whoever wakes up last, he will do the cleaning. So needless to say, that for the next few days at least, everybody was in Mangal Arati on time. And some of them used to wake up earlier also, 3:40, 3:30 like that. They used to wake up and then start chanting. But cleanliness is such a great value that we should keep using the right hand always, and it is something that is to be cultivated. Somehow in our culture and in our background, we forget this. You know, but it is such an important value that the more we keep clean, the more we become purified. Now, this is external cleanliness. Mahaprabhu is emphasizing on internal cleanliness also. Internal cleanliness means cleaning our mind from all the negative and all the dirty thoughts that are there. Sometimes, we always have this kind of a camera, and we're watching, we're seeing everyone and what they are thinking about me. What is it? सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे ये लोग? What people think about me, what people are that's always some contemplation that goes on in our minds. So we are always thinking what others are thinking, what others are doing, like that. But hardly we see that what is going on in my mind. Hardly we observe what is my consciousness. So one of the qualities of a devotee is that he is reflective, is introspective, puts the camera inside, not only outside, inside, and sees inside what's going on. And then we find that at least in the initial stages, we have so much of anarthas. Artha means something that is of use. Anartha means something that is of no use. So in this way, we have this lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, envy, which prevent us from experiencing Krishna. They prevent us. Because of this, we cannot feel the potency of bhakti. We cannot feel love towards the Lord all the time. It's because of these anarthas, they are in the way. Actually, it is the job of the spiritual master to remove these anarthas, if we allow him to do so. It is Lord Balram who, with his plow, he takes away these anarthas out of the heart. Because many times, even if we are chanting, these anarthas, they stop us from making progress. And we are stuck like this in spiritual life. Many years sometimes. Time passes by. And therefore, to take shelter of an authority who can help us in this, and to receive shelter of such an authority who can help us in this, is actually a great fortune. So the chastisement or the correction of a spiritual authority, although it is sometimes very painful to the ego, to the false ego, it is actually a blessing, because that is how these anarthas are removed. Otherwise, how will Krishna reside there? In the throne of our hearts, already Mr. Lust is residing. Already there is so much envy. So where is space for Krishna? There is no space. And therefore they have to be removed. So Mahaprabhu has given this process. Srinavatam swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridantastohi abhadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Srinavatam swakata Krishna, by hearing about the glories of the Supreme Personality, chanting the holy names. Every day, early morning, without fail, everybody must chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By taking this process seriously and sincerely, then these anarthas are removed from the heart. By taking this process, we get purified. This is internal cleanliness. So this is what Mahaprabhu was emphasizing also. Keeping ourselves internally clean. So what he did, he made a rule in the temple, in Gundicha temple. While everybody was cleaning, Mahaprabhu made a rule. Only word that everyone will say is Krishna. Bas, don't say anything. Only Krishna. So somebody they want a bucket. Krishna, Krishna. So the person there, he understands that he wants a bucket, I have to go and get a bucket. So he gets a bucket and he says Krishna. He hands over the bucket. Somebody wants a mop there, he says Krishna. And somehow the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj says that by the dint of their inspiration, the Lord Krishna is present within everyone's heart, and by the dint of his inspiration, these devotees who are chanting and who are hearing, they knew what the other person wanted. It's quite an interesting language, Instead of people sometimes do Maun Vrat, should do Krishna Vrat. Only speak Krishna's name. So this is what went on in Gundicha temple. They were chanting only the name of Krishna. And in this way, there was a very nice festival. After the temple was cleaned, the throne was ready. Mahaprabhu himself went and cleaned the throne. After that was done, then he took the cleaning program outside. They cleaned the road also. So that is something like keeping ourselves internally and externally clean and pure, and also our surroundings clean and pure. They say cleanliness is next to godliness. So keeping Suchi, this is something we learn from Gundicha Marjan, which happens one day before the Rath Yatra festival. The original story of Rath Yatra happens in Kurukshetra. Shri Krishna, after he left Vrindavan, went to Mathura, and then from Mathura, he goes to Dwarka. It is very interesting. At one point, there is a conversation, and the Lord was asked that how come you were always, you never went back to Vrindavan? 11 years he stayed in Vrindavan. And then he was asked, how come you never went? And then what he replied was that I was always from one place, there were duties, higher duties and obligations. Just like when he came to Mathura, and then he met his real parents, Devaki and Vasudev. And then he had killed Kamsa and he had installed Maharaj Ugrasen on the throne. And then uh, life was always one event after the other, even for the Lord. It is amazing to see that how the Lord also, he lives his life based on duties. So he performed duties one after the other, installed Ugrasen, and then he had to protect Mathura. And then protecting from Jarasanga, he shifted everyone to Dwarka. And then there was one thing after the other, even at Dwarka. Then going to Hastinapur, going to Indraprastha to interact and associate with his great devotees, the Pandavas. In this way, time went by. There was an eclipse that had happened in Kurukshetra, that was going to happen in Kurukshetra, and the Lord was going to come there from Dwarka, and so were all his relatives going to come. He also called for the Brajvasis to come there. So all the Brajvasis come to Kurukshetra. They see Krishna and they are overwhelmed because now it is almost 100 years have passed by that they last saw the Lord. So in separation, tears are coming from their eyes. They're crying and they're feeling the separation on seeing the Lord. So Radharani and the gopis, they approach the Lord and he's sitting on the chariot. And Radharani, she speaks on behalf of everyone. And she says, you are the same Krishna and I am the same Radharani. But my heart is not satisfied because there is no Vrindavan. You are that same Krishna, but you are not wearing a peacock feather. Where is your flute? Here you are dressed like a king. Come back with us to Vrindavan. So this was the mood that Radharani had, and she was echoing the mood of all the Brajvasis. So in that mood, the gopis, headed by Radharani, started pulling the chariot. With the desire to take Krishna from Kurukshetra back to Vrindavan. So that is the actual mood of Rath Yatra. Trying to take Krishna from Dwarka or Kurukshetra back to Vrindavan. And for us, what it signifies is taking the Lord, is basically entering, calling the Lord into our hearts. There is a very beautiful prayer by Sripad Shankaracharya known as Jagannath Ashtakam. If you come in the morning in the temple here, then every day in this month, we are chanting Jagannath Ashtakam. Would you like to chant this? Maybe we can do it towards the end and then end with the Kirtan. Some beautiful prayers of Lord Jagannath. What personally inspires me about Lord Jagannath are some of the pastimes with some great devotees. Some of you have heard this story of Dasya Bauri, Bandhu Mohanty. Okay, that's nice. Hardly anybody, so something new. Dasya Bauri. There was a devotee of Lord Jagannath named Baligram Das, and he was such a great devotee that the Lord himself used to accept his offerings. Baligram Das, he had so much of faith in Lord Jagannath that one time he went to, he is by profession, by occupation, he used to trade in cloth. So then at that time barter system was there. So one time he went to a Brahmana's house and he said he will give some cloth, and there he saw there was a coconut tree. So he said, can I take this coconut to Lord Jagannath's temple? I'm going there. He was going to go to Puri. So from a village, from his village, he was going to go to Puri. So he asked the Brahmin that can I take this particular coconut to offer it to Lord Jagannath. So the Brahmin said, okay. Uh, and when Baligram said that, when Baligram mentioned that you can cut the amount of this coconut from my payment. So then that time this Brahmin said, well, I can give you this coconut in exchange for the cloth, which was actually cheating. But Baligram, in his heart, he felt so much of love for the Lord that he wanted to offer this to Jagannath. He just allowed that. He said, okay. He took that coconut. Now he's going towards Lord Jagannath's temple. There, on the way, he meets another Brahmin whom he feels that now I should give this coconut to offer to Lord Jagannath, because he just remembered that he had to go back to his home. So Baligram, he tells to this Brahmin that you go to the temple of Jagannath, stand behind Garuda Stamba and show this coconut to Lord Jagannath and make a prayer that your devotee, Baligram, has sent you this offering of coconut. And only if the Lord stretches his arm and takes the coconut from you, then you let it go, otherwise bring it back. So, so this Brahmin, he was going to Puri, so he walked there and he felt that, what is he saying? Let's give it a try. So this Brahmin, he goes to the temple, offers his obeisances, takes darshan of the Lord, and then he feels, let's give it a try, see what happens. So then he took this coconut and stood behind Garuda Stamba, and then he made this prayer. My dear Lord Jagannath, you are the Lord of the universe, your devotee Baligram is offering you this coconut. If you want, you can collect it. Otherwise, I will take it back. And suddenly, the Lord outstretched his arm and took the coconut, and then the coconut was at the altar. When the Brahmin saw this, he was surprised like anything. He goes back to his village and he proclaims the glories of Baligram Das. Baligram became very famous, and then he was known as Dasya Bauri. And you can see they have made statues all over Puri with Baligram and the coconut. He was very famous. Actually, Baligram, he was such a great devotee that within his heart he was always remembering the Supreme Lord. And he had prayed, the Lord actually gave him darshan. The Lord gave him darshan and told him that whenever the Lord asked him for a boon, for a benediction. And Dasya Bauri said that, my dear Lord, please give me this boon that whenever I remember you, whenever I wish to take your darshan, please appear before me. So the Lord, he replied back that you come to the Puri temple and there you see the chakra. Whenever you meditate upon me, I'll give you darshan at that chakra. And I will personally be there to accept your offerings. One time, Baligram, of course, he became very famous all over Puri, and they respected him a lot. Baligram, one day, he bought some 40 mangoes to offer to Lord Jagannath. He reaches the Puri temple, and there outside itself, the Brahmanas are fighting. They are saying, give the mangoes to us, we will offer. Another Panda came and said, give the mangoes to me, I will offer. So in this way, there was a fight between the Pandas as to who will offer the mango. So Baligram became annoyed, and he says, "Why are you all fighting? There is no need for this fighting." So they said, if you don't give it to us, then who will offer your mangoes to the Lord? So Baligram said, "I'll offer them directly to Jagannath." So the Pandas said, "How will you do this?" Baligram, he took his mangoes and he comes outside the temple, and then he meditates on the chakra. He looks at the chakra of the temple, meditates on Lord Jagannath, and then he takes two mangoes and holds them up. Suddenly the mangoes disappear, and everybody shocked. All the other pandas are shocked. Where did the mangoes go? Then he took another two mangoes, held them up. Two mangoes disappeared. In this way, 40 mangoes. So the pandas thought that he has some black magic. He knows some tantra, some magic he's doing. They said, "What are you doing? What tantra are you doing?" He said, "No tantra. Go and see. The Lord must have eaten." So all the pandas, they go inside the altar. And inside the temple, what do they see? Near Lord Jagannath's altar, they see everywhere mango pulp and peels lying around. So that was Baligram. There was another devotee, Bandhu Mohanty. Bandhu Mohanty lived in Janjpur. Janjpur is a village in Odisha. Bandhu Mohanty, he was very poor. He was a Brahmin by caste, but he used to only beg, he used to live by begging. And whatever he used to get, through that he used to feed himself and his family. So he had three children. Two were very small. One time there was a drought and famine in the village. No food, no water. So he happens to go to house. From house to house, he is going and begging. But nobody's giving him anything because they don't have anything. So then his wife tells him, "In this way, we will starve to death. Don't you have any relatives who can help us? Since people in this village are not giving us anything." So Bandhu Mohanty says, "I don't have any relatives, but I do have a friend. He lives in Sri Kshetra Dham. And if I go to him, I am very confident that he will give us what we need. So let us start towards Sri Kshetra Dham." So the wife says, "Okay, you take one child, I'll take another one, and let's start walking towards Sri Kshetra Dham." So in this way, it took them 4 days to reach to Kshetra. And once they reach Puri, there is a lot of crowd. There's a festival time going on. So they reach there and they see that there is a huge crowd at the Lion Gate. And the security is there. They're even beating people. It was evening time. So Bandhu Mohanty felt that we will not be able to go inside now. So then today, let's just go to the southern gate. There is Peja Nala. And let us drink some Peja and fill our bellies and the bellies of our children. Peja is the starch water that is collected after the rice is washed. So all of that goes in the drain towards the southern gate. So he said, "We'll take that, we'll drink that, and we'll give it to our children for today." The wife said, "But you said your friend is here." So Bandhu Mohanty said, "He seems to be busy. We will try again tomorrow morning. Today night, let us just take this starch water, this peja." So then they drink some peja, they give it to the children. Now Bandhu Mohanty, and then he tells the wife, "Just put them to sleep, let us sleep." And there was nowhere to go, so they sleep near this southern gate of the temple. Bandhu Mohanty is thinking, in his mind, he's praying to Lord Jagannath, "My dear Lord, I considered you my friend. Am I not of this creation? You are feeding everyone. So how come me and my family have to, in this way, fast?" So he's praying like this in his mind. He fell asleep. Meanwhile, in the temple, the final offering to Jagannath was concluded. The pujaris went out. But Jagannath ji was not happy at all. And he, taking the form of a Brahmana, he went around, took his own golden plate, removed one of his own golden plates, filled it up with Mahaprasad, came out of the temple, and began shouting, "Bandhu Mohanty, Bandhu Mohanty." Bandhu Mohanty heard, but he said, Who knows me here? So who must this be? Then the Lord said, Bandhu Mohanty from Jajpur. So Bandhu Mohanty, this is me. But who's calling for me at this time? It's already night. So Bandhu Mohanty goes to where the sound was coming from. He reaches there and he sees this Brahmana with a golden plate of Mahaprasad. Brahmana says that this is for you. So Bandhu Mohanty says, how did you know? He says, oh, this was some extra prasad that was there. One of the pujaris said that they knew that you have come. So then you take this prasadam. The Lord is inspired, take this prasadam and feed it to your children. Don't go hungry. Anybody who comes to Shri Kshetra Dham, they don't go hungry. Lord Jagannath is very merciful. In the form of Mahaprasad, he gives mercy to everyone. So Bandhu Mohanty was so elated, so happy. He took this plate, woke up his wife and children. They all ate to their heart's content. And with filled bellies, then they decided to take rest. Bandhu Mohanty took the golden plate, washed it, and then went searching for that Brahmana who had given him the plate, wanting to return it back to him. But he could not find him anywhere. So he thought that, okay, then tomorrow morning I'll search and I'll give it to him. So he took this plate, put it under his cloth, and then went off to sleep. Next day morning, the temple pujaris, they saw one plate is missing. That report went to the guards. The guards felt that one of the pujaris only must have stolen it because only the pujaris had access to the golden plates. So they put all the pujaris in jail and bait them out. Meanwhile, one guard told the others that there is a family which is sleeping near the southern gate. They seem to have some golden kind of plate. It is shining. As the sun came up, plate was shining. So he said, it seems that there is something under his cloth. So the guards go to the southern gate. There they see Bandhu Mohanty and his family. And they see that under the cloth, then there is a golden plate. So they catch him and ask him, where did you get this plate from? So he said, oh, somebody from the temple yesterday night came and gave Mahaprasad plate to me. So they said, oh, you are lying. You are a cheater, you are a thief. So then they took him and put him in jail. And they started beating him also. Bandhu Mohanty felt, my dear Lord, please save me. I am fully dependent on you. O Patita Pavan Jagannath. He was ready. He had taken shelter of the Lord. He was ready for whatever the Lord wanted. Whatever situation the Lord puts him in. Meanwhile, the Lord, being so upset by all of this, he goes to the king. And in the dream of the king, he appears. And he tells the king that I have called my friend. From far, he has come to see me. And I am taking my own plate, giving my own Mahaprasad to him. Have I taken any of your father's property? Why are you dealing with him in this way? This is inexcusable. Go to immediately relieve Bandhu Mohanty and his family from jail and honor him with Mahaprasad and take care of him. So the king got up and he straight went to the jail. Himself got Bandhu Mohanty out and then put a turban on Bandhu Mohanty. And then he declared that Bandhu Mohanty, he is a great friend of Lord Jagannath. And he will always reside here in Puri. Give him accommodation and give him prasadam for a lifetime. And in this way, Bandhu Mohanty, by the mercy of Lord Jagannath, he stayed in Shri Kshetra Puri Dham after that. And then towards the end, he went back home, back to Godhead. Another story of Lord Jagannath's reciprocation is of Kanchi Abhijan, king of Kanchi, and King Purushottam Dev of Orissa. King Purushottam Dev of Puri was a great devotee of Lord Jagannath. And he happened to visit Kanchi, the state of Kanchi. So when he went there, he happened to meet Princess Padmavati. And Purushottam Dev was attracted to her, wanted to make her his wife. Queen and Princess Padmavati also was happy at that prospect. And even her father wanted the same. So then they discussed. The king of Kanchi sent his minister to with Purushottam Dev to Puri to work out some more details and also to observe Purushottam Dev. So many days passed by. The minister, he lived in Puri and he observed Purushottam Dev very closely. He saw how he is functioning, what he is doing as a king. Rath Yatra came. And during the Rath Yatra festival, as it is tradition, the king, he takes a broom and he sweeps the road. When the minister saw this, that the king is doing such a derogatory activity, such a derogatory act as sweeping the floor, sweeping the road, like a chandal, like a lower caste person, is not befitting royalty. He misunderstood the king's devotion for Lord Jagannath and he felt that this is not a royal act. And then, feeling disappointed, he went back to Kanchi and told to the king of Kanchi, see, you want to get your daughter married to this King Purushottam Dev, but see how he is acting. He is not acting like royalty. How can you get the princess married to him? The king of Kanchi also misunderstood King Purushottam Dev's devotion. And he also felt, yes, how can we get our daughter married to a street sweeper Chandal? I'll not get him married to her. I'll not get her married to him. In fact, we'll call for a Swayamvar and then call other kings. King Purushottam Dev found out that Kanchi, the king of Kanchi, had called for a Swayamvar for his daughter Princess Padmavati and called all the other kings of other states except him. And he was very upset, very disappointed. He went to Lord Jagannath and he prayed, my dear Lord, I was doing this. This is the way in which this king this is the way he is treating. King Purushottam Dev decided to wage a war against the king of Kanchi in revenge. And the king of Kanchi put a condition. He said, if Kanchi wins, then our deity, which is Ganapati, your Jagannath Baldev Subhadra will move out from Puri and they will be placed behind our deity Ganeshji. And if you win, then our deity Ganeshji will be placed behind your Jagannath Baldev Subhadra in Puri. So King Purushottam Dev accepted this condition and he was moving along with his army towards Kanchi, camping at different places. So while they were en route, his camp caught fire. So King Purushottam Dev became very upset because they had to retreat from there. They retreated and went backwards. So he was feeling that if now we do not fight, then what about Lord Jagannath's name? He prayed to Lord Jagannath that, my dear Lord, because I was sweeping your street for your Rath on Rath Yatra day, they misunderstood. After that, now this kind of condition, how can you, the Supreme Lord, be behind Ganeshji? What an insult that will be. And therefore, this fight is not only for me or for Orissa or for Puri, this fight is for you. The Lord comes in his dream and tells him, do not worry. You go ahead, march ahead towards Kanchi. I will handle things. So next day, King Purushottam Dev, with renewed enthusiasm and vigor, goes towards Kanchi with his army. Fresh start. Meanwhile, two new soldiers have been added in his army. One riding a black horse, one riding a white horse. And they are moving ahead of the army. They are moving ahead. Now they happen to reach one particular village. And there they saw this old Mataji who is giving some buttermilk. So they asked, while on the horse, they asked, give us some buttermilk. So then happily, this old Mataji, her name was Manika. So she gave them some buttermilk to drink. So they quenched their thirst with buttermilk. And then she asked for payment. So they said, we are soldiers of the king out on war. We don't have any money, but our king is coming behind. You can ask him. So she said that what is the proof? How will, if I just go and approach the king, why will he trust me? So then one of them removed the ring and gave it to Manika and said, you show this ring to King Purushottam Dev. When he sees this ring, he will understand. Saying like this, these two soldiers on horses moved ahead towards Kanchi. Meanwhile, after some time, King Purushottam Dev, along with his army, they reached there on the village of Manika. Manika Devi was waiting there, and she happened to ask the king. She went there, asked the king that your two soldiers already they drank my buttermilk. Now give the payment. And one of them gave this ring. When Purushottam Dev saw the ring, he understood this diamond ring is of Lord Jagannath. He said, who are they? He said, oh, they looked very big. They looked very strong. One was on a black horse, one was on a white horse, and both of them moved ahead. So the king got some hint. He reaches Kanchi along with his whole army. Meanwhile, he sees that practically the entire army of Kanchi is finished. He asks what happened. They tell him that two soldiers came, one on a black horse, one on a white horse, and they finished off the entire army of the king of Kanchi. King Purushottam Dev very easily after that went and captured the king of Kanchi, also captured Princess Padmavati. He left King Kanchi there and took Princess Padmavati and told his minister, get her married to a Chandal. The minister was very shocked and Princess Padmavati was very depressed. The minister, however, was very intelligent. So he told Princess Padmavati, do not despair, just wait and have faith in Lord Jagannath. Time passed by, and of course, because as the condition of the war was, which was that if King Purushottam Dev won, then the deity of Kanchi Ganesh would be put behind the deities of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra. That happened. Meanwhile, time was passing by, and the minister had already been given the order, get Padmavati married to a street sweeper. So then Rath Yatra festival came. And on the day of Rath Yatra, King Purushottam Dev, he went on the street and he was sweeping with his broom the road. At that time, the minister came and he tells King Purushottam Dev, my dear Maharaj, you had told me to perform this task, that this Princess Padmavati should be married to a street sweeper. Purushottam Dev said, yes, I had told you, so you get it done. Right now, I am in middle of sweeping the road. Now is not the time, do as you see is fit. So the minister says, sure. He goes, bring Princess Padmavati. He had already told Princess Padmavati, you get married, you get ready in bridal attire. Princess Padmavati was already very upset, very despondent, thinking that, oh, I'm going to actually get married to a street sweeper. And her heart was already, yeah, she was already, filled with so much of wanting so much of attention and love from King Purushottam there. And what is happening now? She was afraid of the fact that she would be married to a street sweeper. But so the minister had already prepared her, saying, don't worry, everything will be fine. So then he brings Princess Padmavati there with the garland and tells her, garland the king here. So King Purushottam Dev surprised. So what are you doing? So the minister said, my dear Maharaj, you only said that get Princess Padmavati married to a street sweeper. And right now, the best street sweeper that I find is you. So the king also very heartily laughed and smiled at the genius of his minister. And in this way, King Purushottam Dev was married to Princess Padmavati. Along with the deities of Kanchi Ganesh, also came the deities of Radha Kant from Kanchi. These deities were put in Lord Jagannath's temple. And what happened was that the offerings that were given to Lord Jagannath, There was a complaint that Lord Jagannath, in the dream of a pujari, came and gave that this Radha Radha Kant are eating all my offerings. So better keep them separate. So after that, the temple pujaris had a meeting and they decided that these deities will be shifted from the temple to Gambhira. So Gambhira was Kashi Mishra's house. And it is that place the deities were shifted, and that is the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resided in for his duration that he lived in Sri Kshetra Dham, Sri Radha Radha. So this was the story of Kanchi Abhijan. Like that, there are so many nice pastimes of Lord Jagannath. There was one pastime of one tailor of Lord Jagannath who, one tailor of the Muslim king of Delhi, who was a great devotee of Lord Jagannath. This tailor's name was Parmeshthi. And Parmeshthi was once given a big task of making pillows for the king. So, such very beautiful embroidered cloth was given to him, the best quality. And he was asked, make two pillows for the king. Parmeshti felt that this is such so beautiful cloth, so nice cloth. How can some ordinary human being enjoy this cloth? This should be an offering to Lord Jagannath. So he made these two pillows. Now, that time was the Rath Yatra festival. But that's in Puri. And he's sitting in Delhi. But in his mind, he was thinking about this festival. He was imagining the festival. In his mind, he is contemplating. And he was seeing in his mind's eye that Lord Jagannath, how he's taken out from the temple. He's taken out, the pandas, they put him from the altar, they take him down. For that, they use pillows because they have to bring him down. So he lands on the pillow. So they use pillows. They use these cushions. So what happened? He saw in his mind's eye that Jagannath is being taken and put down. But as he's being put down, one pillow, it burst. So what Parmeshti, out of wanting to serve Lord Jagannath, he took one pillow and gave it to the devotee there, having full faith that Lord Jagannath will accept it. So then, and it happened. The pujari who was there handling Lord Jagannath, he put the pillow down and then Lord Jagannath landed there and then he was taken out. So Parmeshti was very, very satisfied and pleased. Parmeshti was thinking and praying like this, oh my dear Lord Jagannath, I am such a sinful person. I am serving the Muslim king. But still, you are so merciful that you have accepted my humble offering. In this way, he was thinking and counting about his great fortune and blessing. Meanwhile, Parmeshti, he woke up with a start. And when he woke up, he saw that instead of two pillows there was only one. And then Parmeshti started thinking, well, Lord Jagannath, he is the master of the universe. He is the one who has put this king in his place. He is the one who has given empowerment to the king to become the king. So even if the king feels sorry, even if the king feels bad, why should the king feel bad? In this way, Parmeshti was thinking. Meanwhile, the king's servants, they arrived there. The king's servants arrived there on the spot and they asked Parmeshti, where are the two pillows? Parmeshti said, I am coming to the king. So he took one pillow and he comes to the king. And he offers this one pillow to the king. King says, where is my second? Parmeshti says, I offered it to Lord Jagannath. The king said, you think I am a fool? Jagannath is in Puri. How from Delhi did your offering go to Lord Jagannath there? Where did you hide it? Tell me, Parmeshti. So Parmeshti, he started chanting the holy names, having full faith that now Lord Jagannath can only protect him. The Muslim king became so upset with Parmeshti that he ordered his guards that this fellow is a cheater, he's a thief. Put him in jail, don't feed him anything. Then let us see how his Jagannath comes from Puri, how he comes there and saves him. So Parmeshri was put in jail and he was not given any food. Now, Parmeshri had a hunchback. He was also old. He didn't deserve to be treated like this. But the king, he had already made his orders. So Parmeshri is in jail. And there in jail, he is praying, my dear Patit Pavan Lord Jagannath, I am surrendered to you. I did my service to you. Now it is up to you. Whatever you wish, please allow that to happen. So he is praying in this way. Meanwhile, the Lord, he cannot tolerate the difficulties that his devotees may face in this way. So the Lord comes on Garuda, goes straight to the palace of the king, appears in the dream of the king, and he tells the king that Parmeshthi is my great devotee. He offered me a pillow. So why are you getting upset about it? Immediately release Parmeshthi from jail. Give him the highest honor that you could give. Dress him up in fine garments and parade him all around the city and give him all the respect that he deserves as your family guru. If you don't do this, then I'll finish off your family. So Lord Jagannath in this way threatened the king. The king gets up. Straight he goes to the jail, takes Parmeshthi out. There he sees very amazing, a big transformation has happened. That Parmeshthi, who was initially hunchback, old, suddenly looks very beautiful. He is also straight. The king says, Parmeshthi, we forgot. We could not recognize you. We failed to recognize your glory. Please accept this honor. He gives them the finest garments, dresses Parmeshthi up in the finest of garments. Gives him a turban, puts a turban on his head. And then orders that Parmeshthi go on the elephant, and all around the city there is a big parade. And then he also announced that Parmeshthi henceforward is our family guru. In this way, the Supreme Lord glorifies and protects his devotees. There was another story of Talicha Mohapatra. Talicha Mohapatra was the head pujari in Lord Jagannath's temple. One day he got an announcement, he got news that the king is coming for darshan in the evening. Then he looked at the Lord, he saw that the Lord is not wearing any garland, but he was wearing a garland. He felt that if I do not offer a garland to the king, it will look very bad. So he crossed a boundary, took out his own garland and put it on the Lord. His garland was a Maha garland, that he put it on the Lord back again. Now the king came, took darshan of the Lord. Talicha Mohapatra, he took out the garland and placed it on the king's neck. The king became very happy with Talicha Mohapatra's service. The king goes back to his palace. When he is at his home, he is observing the garland and then he sees that there is a big black hair. This big black hair strand he sees. So when he sees this strand, he calls for Talicha Mohapatra. So Talicha Mohapatra comes there. And he says, the king asks Talicha Mohapatra, what is it? Is this Lord Jagannath's garland? If it is so, then is it that Lord Jagannath is growing hair now? He asks, is he growing hair now? Or is it that you did something? So Talicha Mohapatra said, yes, it is true. For a while, Jagannath has been growing hair. So when Talicha Mohapatra says this, the king says, okay, tomorrow morning I will come and take darshan of Lord Jagannath and I will see the hair for myself. If I see that Lord Jagannath is having hair, that is good for you. If I see that he is not having hair, then be ready for the strictest punishment. Talicha Mahapatra, when he goes back to the temple, he is feeling very, very afraid. And he goes to Lord Jagannath and he prays to him. My dear Lord, I am the greatest of all offenders. First of all, I had the audacity to put the garland on you. And then now I have also said that you are growing hair. So, my dear Lord, if you want, you can save me. Otherwise, the king is going to banish me or he may kill me also. Better than that is I kill myself. He kept a pot of poison next to him. And praying like this, he went off to sleep. The Supreme Lord Jagannath, who is most merciful, he arrives in Talicha Mahapatra's dream. And he tells him, do not worry. My devotees have nothing to fear. My devotees will never and can never be vanquished. So when the Lord comes and gives him this kind of assurance, Talicha Mahapatra feels very reassured. Next day morning, when he wakes up, he just removes the poison bottle from there, understanding that now the Lord will protect him. First of all, he goes and takes darshan of Lord Jagannath. And what does he see? He sees that Lord Jagannath is having waist length hair up to Ratna Simhasan, up to end. So when he sees, he is offering prayers to Lord Jagannath. Talicha Mahapatra is offering heartfelt prayers to Lord Jagannath. Meanwhile, the king arrives with his entourage. And he asks Talicha Mahapatra, so you are going to show me whether the Lord Jagannath is growing hair or not, as you proclaimed yesterday. So Talicha Mahapatra said, what is there to show? You can see it for yourself. So the king comes there, and what does he see? He sees so much hair. The king is suspicious. He goes near the Lord, takes a few strands of hair, and then pulls them. He said, have you stuck them using glue? When he pulls the hair, blood starts coming out. So when Talicha Mahapatra sees this, he also sees that the king has fallen unconscious. The king, out of shock on seeing the blood that is coming from those strands of hair that he pulled from Lord Jagannath's head, he fell unconscious. They threw some water on the king, sprinkled him with some water. The king got up, and the king is crying and crying. The king is praying, he's saying, what a great offender I am. I am a great offender to you, Talicha Mahapatra. You are such a great devotee of the Lord, that whatever you have said has come out to be true. You are certainly such a great devotee, and I am such a great offender that I have the audacity to pull Lord Jagannath's hair. I am surely going to hell. Please forgive me. Like this, he is offering obeisances continuously, offering prayers continuously, offering apologies continuously while lying down. And Talicha Mahapatra says that I am also a great offender, but the Lord is infinitely merciful. He gets the king up and he says, please do not worry. Take shelter of Lord Jagannath. He is Patita Pavan. If he wants, then he can forgive us for this offense. And the king, he feels a little reassured when he hears these words from Talicha Mahapatra. Meanwhile, both of them, when they go back again to take darshan of the Lord, what do they see? No hair. No hair. And in this way, Talicha Mahapatra is offering prayers again to the Lord that what is not possible for you, my dear Lord Jagannath. There was another devotee of Lord Jagannath by the name Ganapati Bhatta. Ganapati Bhatta was an impersonalist. He read in the Puranas that Parabrahman resides in Puri. So he decides to go to Puri to take darshan of Lord Jagannath. So Ganapati Bhatta reaches there in Puri. When he reaches Atranala, if you know, there is a bridge to go to Puri. Mahaprabhu used to go in that bridge, still there, Atranala. So when he goes there, he also sees a lot of people coming out of Puri. So he's thinking, if Parabrahman resides in Puri, then people should merge in him. Why are they coming out? Impersonalists, they want to merge into the Lord. So he checked the Puranas. He said, yeah, Parabrahman. And he checked. He saw that, yes, Parabrahman resides in Puri. So then he's thinking, how is this possible? If Parabrahman is in Puri, all these people are going to take darshan of Parabrahman. Then why are they not merging? How are they coming out? So thinking like this, he says that maybe this Parabrahman doesn't reside here. The Lord takes the form of a Brahmana and goes behind Ganapati Bhatta and tells him what happened. Ganapati Bhatta, he narrates his confusion. The Puranas say this is Parabrahman. Parabrahman, then how is it that people are not merging in? How are they coming out of the temple? So the Brahmana, the Lord who is in disguise as the Brahmana, tells him that the Lord is Kalpataru. Jagannath is Kalpataru. He is a wish fulfilling desire tree. Whatever you desire, he fulfills that. So these devotees who took darshan, they didn't want to be merged. They wanted to take darshan and go back to their families. So then he allowed them. That's why they are coming out. Hearing this explanation, he feels pacified. He says, okay, let me go and take darshan. So he goes inside the Puri temple. When he goes near the altar, he sees Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra's form. Now Ganapati Bhatta, he was, in his mind, he felt that Jagannath has the form of elephant head. He felt that Jagannath is having the form of like how Ganapati is. In his mind, he felt like the Parabrahman should be like Ganesha. So he was disappointed to see no Ganesha there. So Ganapati Bhatta, he came out and he was disappointed, started moving out, thinking that oh, this is not Parabrahman. The Lord inspired the king's representative, whose name was Mudirat, saying that see my devotee Ganapati Bhatta, he has come. He wants to see this particular form of mine. You convince him that I am the source of that form. So Mudirat goes running behind Ganapati Bhatta, who has already moved out of Puri, and brings him back, telling him, please take darshan once again, you will see whatever form you desire. Ganapati Bhatta comes back. When he reaches the temple, lo and behold, he is able to see the form of the Lord with a trunk and elephant head. And when he is able to see that, he feels so much ecstasy, starts crying. And then he prays to the Lord that, my dear Lord, please grant me this benediction that this form of yours, you will give darshan of this form of yours to all the devotees. Now that day was Snan Yatra day. And then it became a practice after that every year after Snan Yatra is Gajanan Vesha. So the Lord, he dresses up in the form of Ganapati. And this Ganapati Bhatta, who prayed like this, to see this form, was instrumental in making this form appear to all the devotees every year. Ganapati Bhatta, after that he prayed, my dear Lord, my desire is to merge into you. He disappeared there right on the spot while offering obeisances. All the devotees there in the puja, all the pujaris who were there in the temple, they were very shocked and surprised. How did he disappear? Disappeared there, merged. The Lord is Kalpataru, fulfills all the desires of everyone. There was another devotee of Lord Jagannath named Kararama. Kararama used to prepare very nice khichdi, but not always very suchi. One day, one devotee from the Sri Sampradaya, who are very pakka in the rules and regulations to be followed in deity worship, happened to come at Kararama's place. Kararama used to prepare khichdi. And Lord Jagannath from the temple used to come to her house to eat khichdi. With that much devotion, she used to prepare. Now, this devotee from the Sri Sampradaya, when he saw how Kararama is, he thought she is making a regular offering. When he saw how she is preparing, he was very alarmed She was not following any standards. With the same, she's using the same twig, and she's tasting also. Not even clean, not even taken bath before starting to cook. So he gave a list of all rules and regulations that she must follow before she starts cooking. So Kararama, very simple old lady, she accepted it. So the next day, Kararama started, she cleaned all her paraphernalia, all utensils, then she went to take second time bath. Jagannath came there. And then Lord Jagannath said, Kararama, is the khichdi ready? Kararama says, no, I am still taking bath, it will take time, come after some time. So Jagannath goes back. Then Kararama comes out. Then she is now preparing, starts to prepare khichdi. Now she cannot even taste. So she is worried what to do, how to function, how to work. So somehow she prepares. But she still get to complete, and then Jagannath comes again. So she says that just wait, I am last. Just I'll serve you in a while. Just wait for a while. Jagannath goes back again. Then after some time, Jagannath comes, and now it's ready. Already Jagannath is late. So then Jagannath finishes. He goes back to the temple. There the pujaris go with Rajbhog offering. This khichdi he used to eat during breakfast. And now the Rajbhog offering has come. Already pujaris have arrived, but they see that Jagannath's hand has khichdi there. There is some khichdi on Jagannath's hand. So the pujaris check, what was the last offering? There is no khichdi in the menu list. There is no khichdi item there. So how is it that Jagannath is having khichdi on his hand? How is it possible? And the last offering that we made, that was not khichdi. They checked, it was not khichdi. So then they figured out Jagannath is going somewhere to eat. So they tried to find out who's making khichdi in the morning. There they found that it is Karara Devi who's preparing khichdi every day. So they asked her, Karara Devi, you prepare khichdi? Say, yeah, I prepare khichdi, offer it to Jagannath. Now, meanwhile, Jagannath came in the dream of that Sri Vaishnav devotee and told her, why are you giving all these rules and regulations to Karara Devi? I like this khichdi the way she makes it. What is your problem? Then this devotee comes next day and tells Karara Devi, you don't need to do anything. Meanwhile, the temple guards have also found out that it is Karara Ma whose khichdi Jagannath is relishing so much that he leaves the temple to go to her house to eat. So then they ask Karara Devi that you prepare your khichdi and offer it to Lord Jagannath every day formally. We will come and collect from here and then offer it to Jagannath in the temple. Karara Devi is overjoyed because that simple offering that she used to make with so much of devotion is now being recognized, and now Jagannath in the temple is going to eat. So then it became famous that Karara Devi's khichdi, that offering continued every day henceforward, and then it remained a permanent offering in Lord Jagannath's bhoga. Kararama ki. Because Lord Jagannath, he is the Lord who eats. It is amazing how the Lord, in the form of Mahaprasad, he gives mercy to so many devotees. So if you go to Jagannath Puri, you will see this prasadam is a very, very important aspect of Lord Jagannath's taking darshan and the entire program, taking Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. It is said that of the three things that never get contaminated, one is the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in any state, in any form, any place you are. Even in the loo, if one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is no contamination. Vedic mantras, not allowed. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra, no problems, no contamination. You don't get reaction also, and it's not contaminated. The name always remains pure. Likewise, there is Braj Raj, that is the dust of Raj. And the third is Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad. Lord Jagannath, there was this story of how the glories of Mahaprasad. So it so happens that Narad Muni once, he asks Narayan that I want to taste Mahaprasad. Now he knows that Lord Narayan doesn't give. Actually, Narayan had issued orders to Lakshmi Devi that don't give anybody Mahaprasad. So Narad Muni, he goes to Lakshmi Ji and asks, please give me some Mahaprasad. Lakshmi Ji says that my Lord has asked not to distribute. How can I distribute to you? Please ask him on my behalf. Narad Muni requests. So then Lakshmi Ji asks Narayan that Narad Muni is asking, your great devotee is asking for some Mahaprasad. Please grant him some Mahaprasad. He says, I've already made a rule. You can take Mahaprasad without me knowing it. So then she takes some Mahaprasad, calls Narad Muni, he comes and takes it. When he honors Mahaprasad, then he's so happy, so ecstatic and happy that he's going everywhere around the universe. Normally he's chanting Narayan's name, spreading the glories of the Lord everywhere. Now he's dancing also after taking Mahaprasad, after honoring Mahaprasad. So happy he is. He goes to Kailash. There he sees Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva sees him surprised because normally he's chanting, now he's chanting and dancing. So Lord Shiva says, what happened to you, Narad Muni? So Narad Muni says that I had the great opportunity to take Jagannath's Mahaprasad. So Lord Shiva says, what about me? So Narad Muni says that Ma Lakshmi gave me only this much, which I finished. Now I do not have. But when he observes closely, there is a little Mahaprasad left over on his hand. So he gives that to Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he tastes that Mahaprasad. And there's a little small morsel. And he's ecstatic. So ecstatic that he's performing Tandav Nritya. And all the demigods are worried that this is not the time of annihilation, but he's dancing like that. And Lord Shiva is so much in ecstasy that the demigods, they ask Mother Parvati to go and pacify Lord Shiva. Parvati Devi comes there and she asks Lord Shiva, what has happened? He says, I got a morsel of Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasad. So Parvati says, where is mine? So Lord Shiva says, Narad Muni gave me only a morsel. So Parvati Devi is very upset. Very upset. She performs a lot of tapasya. And she gets access to the Supreme Lord Narayan. How? Because she is so upset that she is causing pralay to happen. All the demigods become so worried that they all, along with Brahma, they go to Shvetadip. And there they ask Vishnu to please give Parvati Devi some Mahaprasad because she is annihilating the universe prematurely. So there Lord Narayan, he says, yes, I will fulfill the desire of Parvati Devi. Parvati Devi says, my desire is that just like I had to suffer for your Mahaprasad, please don't make any other living entity. They are all my children. Don't make them wait or suffer for Mahaprasad. Please distribute it profusely and give it to everyone. So the Lord grants her this benediction and tells that yes, in Kali Yuga, when I appear in my form as Jagannath, that time I will profusely distribute Mahaprasad. So that is the glory of Jagannath Mahaprasad. So Lord Jagannath is very merciful. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had wonderful pastimes in Rath Yatra, wherein Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than that same Krishna who is in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So it's Radharani who's in the mood of calling out for Krishna, who's wanting Krishna's association. And it is the same Jagannath who, you know, is the same Krishna who's experiencing so much Mahabhav on remembering Radharani and the gopis that he has taken this form where he shrinks. As you must have heard this pastime, that in Dwarka Leela, when Krishna, Balaram and Subhadra Devi were outside the assembly hall, wherein Mother Rohini was narrating the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan to all the queens of Krishna. The queens of Krishna had requested that Maharohini, you were the one who were witness to Krishna's Vrindavan Leela. You are the only one who saw Krishna's Vrindavan Leela. So please narrate to us these pastimes, because still in the night, he gets up in middle of the night and says, Gopi, Gopi. He says, Radha, Radha. We are right next to him, but he is remembering Vrindavan. What was so special? So Maharohini says I will narrate them, but the condition is that Krishna Balram should not hear. If they do, they will run away to Vrindavan. So then they made a condition that Subhadra Devi will stand guard on the door, and Krishna and Balram will not be allowed to enter inside. But what happens is when the narration starts, Krishna and Balram arrive there, and at the door they are able to hear. And when they hear their own pastimes, then they feel this Mahabhav, this special ecstasy. And in that, Krishna's eyes become big. Their hands and legs, they get withdrawn and move inside. And that's where Narad Muni arrives. And he sees this form of Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra. And there he says, oh, my dear Lord, so merciful form, you are experiencing Mahabhav. Please give the Kalyug Vasis also this opportunity to take darshan of this form. So this is that form of Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra, wherein the Lord is also experiencing ecstasy. So when it was Jagannath Yatra, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present, it was Radharani wanting Krishna and Krishna wanting Radharani. So both when they were meeting, it was an outpour of ecstasy. So the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is so much of description about Ratha Yatra and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how he happened to experience and to participate in the Ratha Yatra pastimes. Lord Jagannath is very merciful. He has big eyes. He sees what devotional service we are performing. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God sees you. So all of us, we are trying to see God. When we are trying to see some energy of God, also we are trying to see God. Somebody wants to see money, somebody wants to see beauty, somebody wants fame. All of this is Krishna's energy. So we are all trying to search God in some or the other way. We are all trying to find Krishna in some or the other way. So Bhakti Siddhanta says, don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God sees you. Just like when you want to meet an important person, it may be difficult to get an appointment. But what if he wants to see you? Just like if you want to meet the Prime Minister, it may be difficult to directly approach him. But what if he wants to see us? Then it's very easy. So there was this story, the devotees in the early days, they wanted to meet the American president, the president of the United States. So they were thinking what to do. So what they did was they made the president was going to go on a rally. And what they did was they put a big board, and in that they wrote, "May Krishna bless the president." May Krishna bless the president. Like this big card they were holding, big board. Like this. So the president went by on his rally, he's waving everyone. Later on, he saw this. He saw the footage later on when he reaches back, and he says, "What is this? May Krishna bless the president." Who are these people? And before the devotees knew it, next day they were having dinner with the president. So if we want to meet a great personality, it may be difficult. But what if he wants to meet us? Then it is very easy. So by performing devotional service, by surrendering to Krishna through the bona fide authority that he sends in our lives, then we come into the eyes of the Lord. And then there is, in his record, it is written, this devotee is chanting 16 rounds every day. This devotee comes to the temple. This devotee is doing this service for me. Oh, I must give him some blessing. I must give him some. So that is the mood of Lord Jagannath. That's why his eyes are so big. He's watching. So darshan is a two-way thing. We take the Lord's darshan, he also takes our darshan. He also sees which devotees have come to take his darshan. And then that remains in his record. So that is devotional life. Spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, it's a record. And then all of this is counted at the time of death. That is why they say death is preparation and life is preparation and death is examination. So that is what we want. We want to make sure that we want a certificate from Krishna that he did so much devotional service. So just like Srila Prabhupada mentions that Putra, she wanted to give Krishna poison, but Krishna took the milk and awarded her a position of a nurse in the spiritual world. So what to speak of those devotees who are trying to follow the regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna, and very dedicatedly give their time, energy, resources in Krishna service? What about them? How much more mercy they will get? So we want to come in that category. wherein the Lord takes our notice. And that is completely up to us. And the primary thing we can do is by chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की, जगन्नाथ रथ यात्रा महामहोत्सव की. Time is a little. Kirtan? Okay. Just close it, put the harmony. So we'll end by some little kirtan. Meanwhile, any questions or comments? Yes, bro. Yes.
So, is darshan itself a service to the Lord or just a personal desire? Because even pure devotees crave darshan, but isn't offering prayers during the darshan the real service? Or is real darshan done by hearing about it?
All our service. Taking darshan of the Lord is Vandanam is prayers. So certainly, all of this is service. All of this is within the realm of service. Offering prayers, taking darshan, all of this is devotional service. Yes, any other question or comment? Yeah, well, it is a pastime class, so how can there be doubts? Doubts are in philosophy. Pastimes is just. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jagacharyas Kotar Sadhus Divine Grace, Vaishnava Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pariva Jagacharyas Kotar Sadhus Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki, Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki, Vimseko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srimasa Gaura Bhakta Ki, Shri Radha Krishna Lok Gopinath Shyam Kunda Rajan Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki, Shri Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ki, Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani Ki, Samayat Bhakta Vrind Ki, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya Ki, Shri Jagannath Ratha Yatra Mahamahotsav Ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Krishna, so let us thank Grandmother Prabhu for giving us so many wonderful pastimes, many of which I also heard for the first time about the interactions of Lord Jagannath with his devotees, and for the wonderful Kirtan. Let us thank him by artfully chanting the Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna.